The universal answer to any of these questions is grounded in very hardcore self-awareness. The reason I'm so big on patience is for a room like this, the thing that I always worry about is how healthy is their ambition and what is the fuel of their ambition. You know, for me, as I've gotten older, I'm like, oh, the fuel of my ambition is like this beautiful mix of like gratitude and even like micro guilt that I had this perfect circumstance of mother, immigrant upbringing. It comes from such a place of like, fuck, I'm so happy, and like, whoa, so many people aren't, that like I'm like very inspired on a daily basis while I'm doing my thing to figure out ways to say something and change the perspective in some way that might help someone start to achieve more happiness. The other big revelation for me as I go through my journey is how many people's ambition is completely fueled by insecurity. And that's been really eye-opening for me, that people want to show their parents that didn't do the right thing, the girl or the guy or the system or like the town they came from, like, you know, or like.
Where a lot of ambition comes from, right?
Yeah, and I actually think that's a problem.
It's unhealthy, that's what you meant by unhealthy.
It's not sustainable.
Right.
Right? It becomes not sustainable, and then very honestly, when you're able to use that to amass dollars, money doesn't change you, money exposes you. So if you're in a bad place and you like wanted to prove everyone wrong and then you got the money, then you're gonna spend that money on dumb shit. And so, you know, my advice is, you know, it's really funny, I don't think of myself as being in the advice business. I understand what I do.
Yeah.
I view myself in the, here's observations, and I'm hopeful that whether you completely agree with it or completely disagree with it, that you're able to take it, process it through your self-awareness and reality, and see if you can extract value from it, whether you want to do it or completely run away from it. Because boy, oh boy, do I know a lot of people who make $47,000 a year that are really in solid places because they live a $38,000 a year lifestyle and they have a good sense of who they are and what makes them happy. And I know even more people who make $3 million a year, live a $4.9 million a year lifestyle, have no idea who they are or what makes them happy and are completely swirling out of control.
What makes you happy?
What makes me happy is a couple things. On a selfless standpoint, Garyvee makes me happy. You know, leaving an impact on the world makes me very happy. I am very aware, and I'm a young man, I'm 47 years old. I live a life where more than 1,000 people a day reach out to me and say thank you for something that they didn't buy from me or I sold them, and that feels incredible. So that feels unbelievable. Selfishly, I love spending time with friends and family, you know.
That's not selfish.
Yeah, I mean, I think the things, fair enough, but I think the things that like I love getting, you know, I love my hobbies, you know, like I really love the escapism of rooting for a team that sucks. I enjoy, like I really love garage sailing. I'm not kidding. It's amazing to me like how excited I am that it's like early March because I'm like a couple more weeks, you know, so silly things like that. Probably the thing I enjoy the most is like, and I've done this since I was a 10-year-old child, I'm really good at doing what I want to do. The reason I got D's and F's was I wasn't even willing to put in the minimal effort to get C's and B's because I was like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm really good at like having pure conviction, but I'm willing to deal with the ramifications of my conviction. I think I'm very good at respecting the game more than wanting what I want. So like, I love entrepreneurship because I micro lose all the time. And I love that. So that, I'm just very grateful that I get to do what I get to do. And then I think what makes me happy is the luck of the draw of being the firstborn to very young parents. So I'm 47, my parents are 69 and 67. So just very grateful for that. You know, yeah, just like, you know, it's funny. I do a lot of things professionally. I'm a very high energy dude. I put out all sorts of content, I get it, but I'm extremely simple, like wildly simple.
Love it, great answer. So I've seen the The garage sale thing, and I always thought that was really interesting. I remember going to garage sales as a kid myself. Is that where you think you maybe got the love from? Did you go to garage sales as a kid?
I did. That happened because there was a time and place where my content was like, hey, you know, I worked for 12 years at my dad's liquor store. I never made a lot of money, but I lived within my means, so I was able to have some savings. And then Twitter and Facebook and Tumblr came along and I invested that money into it, and you can too. And then I started getting emails like, fuck you, I don't have $25,000 to invest in a startup. And I was like, and I started getting enough of that I was like, that's good, fine. I'll just go further back in my journey and I'll show you what I did when I had $0 and like I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and went garage sailing, especially when eBay first came out. There was a supply, and no different than the way I talk about social media creative, which is like when there's a new platform that has enough attention on it, there's not enough content for it. So if you go there heavily and aggressively and you post organically, you're gonna get a lot more organic reach for no cost, and that's a land grab of attention. And that runs all the time between paid and organic. And because social is where so much of society is playing out, this is very important. Well, the same thing happened with Internet 1.0. So few people knew what was going on eBay. There was more people searching for stuff to buy because it was the first time collectors in the late 90s could find Pez dispensers or video games or comic books, not going to a big show or a store, but there wasn't as many people listing them. So everything was super valuable. Like you literally could make $1,000 garage selling with 80 bucks every single Saturday if you were willing to put in the work. Obviously that market evolved, but it's still very true. I still believe to this day that the easiest, aka hard, but easier than other things, that the biggest opportunity for somebody who has $500 to their name is to buy and sell things in the arbitrage of the way society works between Poshmark and a thrift store and Craigslist and a garage sale and a pawn shop and eBay. And so I got motivated to make that content to help people, and like now it's super fun because my profile's grown, that content's done well. So now when I garage sale, 10 people that are actively garage selling as well somewhere in New Jersey roll up on me and tell me their stories, and it's really, yeah, I learned a lot in garage sales. I learned more in baseball cards shows, I would say. But then I started working for my dad's liquor store when I was 14, and just watching customers behind the register is definitely, watching customers at flea markets, watching customers at baseball card shows, watching customers in a liquor store really framed up my intuitive and skill around following attention and understanding what to put in front of it. One of the things that I'm fascinated by is humans' capacity to think humans are bad at scale. This is where media and information and the way the world works fascinates me. Humans are stunningly amazing. Of the 8 billion people that roam this earth, it is stunning how many are remarkable to at least neutral. Yet we are infatuated with paying attention to the 1% of the 1% of the 1% that are not. And so I'm very optimistic about human beings. I mean, do I think the robots eventually win and kill us? Maybe, but that's just not something that I can spend a whole lot of energy on. That's gonna happen one way or the other, right? It's either gonna happen or it's not.